Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Pod Fruit One Piece Through New Eyes. On today's episode, we will be discussing Volume 16, titled Carrying on His Will. Volume 16 covers chapters 137 through 145. I'm the host, Michael, and with me, as always, we have our One Piece rookies, V and Dylan.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Oh, a quick reminder, join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord for all our latest announcements, information, and fun. On Twitter, we are PodFruit, Instagram, PodFruit, and our Discord is linked in the description. We would also love it if you gave us a follow and a review. Let us know what you like, what you don't. We love feedback. So...
sorry for the absence. It's my fault. I decided to, take some time off of my soul-crushing job and spend time with my family. That partially explains the delay, so audience, thank you so much for your patience. But hopefully we should be getting back to a more regular schedule after the summer vacation time.
We all work jobs here, and scheduling can be difficult, but thank you for listening. Thank you for continuing to listen. With that, let's begin. My summary today is written by me. The volume picks up with Luffy and Sanji desperately struggling to get Nami to a doctor. Along the way, they are attacked by Lapins and the former King Wapol. Despite the adversity, Luffy carries his friends up the side of the mountain and arrives at the castle. The three are nursed back to health by Dr. Correa and her companion Chopper. The Straw Hats try to recruit Chopper. Wapol arrives to the castle with the intention of taking it back, as Correa recounts Chopper's troubled past. A reindeer who ate the human fruit. He was abandoned by his own kind and taken in by a dying quack doctor named Hiraluk. The two grew close as Chopper learned medicine from Hiraluk. However, the doctor goes on a mission to save the village's other doctors, which turned out to be a trap by King Wapol. Chopper is then taken in by Dr. Correa. And that is our summary of Volume 16. Today, V is going to start. V, are you ready for Chapter 137?
I am ready.
Right on.
So, I really enjoy the vibes of the intro image. It's so homey and slice of lifey. It's not the first time that we bring it up, but it's nice to see the Straw Hats in a more, relatable context. Like, you can see them just... It's almost soothing. The whole thing is great. Sanji is, maybe getting ready for a date. Zoro and Usopp are playing chess, and Luffy's chilling on the windowsill. It's really good.
Sanji's outfit made me think he was getting ready for, work, or maybe a job interview. I don't know.
Why would he have a bouquet of flowers in his hands?
I was going to say the polka dots doesn't match up with, the edgy kid, studded bracelet and, wallet chain.
That's true.
The flowers are for the job interview.
It's not edgelord enough. So, yeah, cute little corner intro image at the bottom of page 2 with the lapin and the baby lapin hanging on its back. And as we've as I discovered recently, I think it was in the last episode, it's these little images you find later on in the, in that chapter. So I think this is one of those that comes back in the chapter. I really, really enjoyed page 4 with Sanji and Luffy's expressions as they're trying to figure out what to do. And then you see the wide shot of them running down the mountain through the trees with the avalanche tumbling towards them. And also, I thought it was very sweet of Sanji to say that Nami comes first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. It's he is a simp. Okay, let's be real. Sanji is a simp, but he does care. And then, overall, I really enjoy the visuals of the avalanche as it progresses through the pages. We kind of mentioned it last episode, but I feel like Oda does snow very well. It feels immersive, it feels fluffy, and it's almost as if I can hear the tumbling of the snow as it, goes down the mountainside. Yeah, just, he does panoramic and scenic shots really well, and I'm happy to see that it translates in snowy scapes also. And the whole snowboarding down the mountain on a tree while being chased by lapins thing is amazing. I love that scene. It's quirky, it's absurd, and it just made me happy. It was pure entertainment as I was reading those pages.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game.
Have you ever played any of the Sonic Adventure games?
No, I haven't. Should I?
Oh, the Sonic Adventure. Yes and no. Yes and no. There's a lot of like downhill chase stuff in it, and that's all I can think about.
Okay, I see. Well, that
I was just thinking like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater like soundtrack playing during it.
right? Yeah. Okay. Another visual shout out at page 14. It feels quite glorious in the way that the avalanche is drawn, and we see it approaching the village. Like it feels big. It feels like imposing. It feels like I'm right there. And again, we're talking a little bit about perspective shots. Oda does that well also, and this is coming across here in this scene. I'm happy to learn more about the woolly hippos and to see Robson galloping away. Wapple can die for all I care, but I'm interested.
Robson must be protected
I'm
at all costs.
interested in Robson's well-being. Also, this is something that I feel is coming across more and more, or maybe I'm just more observant. And this isn't the first. It's not the only time that I'm going to bring this up in this specific volume, but the pacing of the pages gets to me so much. Like, it's so good. Like, and an example of that here is on page 18. You kind of feel the quiet set in. Like, the top of the page is just the snow, and then the middle is, you get a little bit more of the, like, environmental shot, and then you see something peeking out, and then the bottom of the page is the mouth closing down, and it's so clever. It is so clever, the way Oda uses the page layout to convey a story, to convey a message, and to kind of immerse you, the reader, in the story that he's telling. Yeah, I'm very impressed, and like I said, it is not the only time that I'm going to bring this up during the reading or our analysis of this volume. And again, I feel like I can hear it. I can hear, like, the rustling of the snow and then the snap of the teeth, like, closing upon one another. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty cool. And then the chapter ended on an interesting note to me. It's as though Luffy realizes that the situation is very dire, that he doesn't even want to fight. And I feel like is it the first time that this has come up? I don't know. It's like the calm before the storm, or like he keeps his composure when he knows that it's actually important. Because if he's just fighting for fighting, he doesn't really give much regard to the context or who gets in the way or what the, like, collateral damage is. He just kind of goes for it. But in this moment, he gets it. It's like he has somewhere to be, and he's like, bro, chill. I don't have time for this. Let me do my thing. I'll get back to you later. And sure enough, it works. The Lapin lets him, but, Wapple is coming in, and I had a feeling at the time, and I know that it was true, that this spelled trouble. And, that's what I had for chapter 137. Dylan?
Back to the cover page thing, it's like, all right, like, polka dots is a bold choice for
It's
a
a
date.
choice.
I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's probably gonna be Sanji, but, polka dots.
Chicks dig polka dots.
Do they?
It confuses them.
Right.
Confuses everyone.
It's like our small, tiny brains
You heard it here first, listeners.
can't understand the pattern of the polka dot, and we're just hypnotized.
But, again, a lot of good scenery shots of the avalanche coming in throughout. The avalanche was portrayed as impending doom very well. I do also love, like, tree snowboarding. That's fun.
Reminds me a little bit of Legolas doing the shield surfing in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice that the Lupines were also doing it as well. I thought it was more they were just kind of like, snow creatures that were dealing with it and, like, attacking because the avalanche doesn't fuck with them as much. But then I looked at it and I was like, oh, wait, no shit, they're actually...
Yeah, these motherfuckers use tools.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one, like, popped off a laser flip, dude.
Yeah.
I can hit a 50-50 tail slide blunt, dude.
Dude.
But I also love, like, one of the panels that got me the best, when they realized they're about to crash in the rock on 11, and Sanji throws Luffy, and he's like, a lady requires that gentle touch. Crashing into a fucking rock head on is all that is deserved after saying some shit like that. It's like, it just reminds me of, like, I've seen something, like, a guy gets pulled over, and there's a person, like, driving by him, like, laughing at him, and then he smashes into the back of a school bus. It's
my God.
You get, like, not to where, like, anyone was hurt, but he got in a wreck because he was being an asshole. That, for me, was like, well... That's what you get. And I guess them crashing caused, like, a a ripple effect of making all the Lapines crash too.
Nobody was ready for brakes.
Yeah. It's like, brakes, what are those? And then I loved, like, you idiot, don't try and hog the glory. And he goes to his guy and says, yeah, fine, I got him. And then, like, the glove just comes off on the face that's drawn. It's silly. And like you said, the avalanche approaching the village is a great shot. As well as, kind of like the calm after something like that and the quiet that you mentioned at page 18 is super well done as well. Like the snow falling and then. But my thing I took away from that is, like, seeing how much of an area he covered up. It's like, he spat out, how many people did he actually just eat? Because he spat out 3 of his homies, but that was like a good solid like city block that he just ate out. I'm assuming he ate some people.
I'm assuming he eats people.
Yeah, he just eats.
Like, period.
And they're like, it's like, oh, it has to be them. You're getting back at me for attacking their ship. It's like, oh, it's got to be it. And it's like, I never underestimate the power of stupid people in a sound vacuum.
I mean, indirectly, it was caused by the people he suspects it was caused by.
Well, it was caused by the little pines. They didn't necessarily live themselves. But then I like the little scene where it's like the little one's trying to dig out the big one. And it's like, oh, no, you're going to die. And Luffy's like, nah, I got you.
That was adorable. That was a cute little scene.
And then, of course, Walpole comes up. It's, oh, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, God damn it. Just the look on Luffy's face at that last panel. I was just like, are you fucking serious? This shit again? But yeah, that's all I really got on that chapter.
For 137, yeah, it was pretty to the point. I don't think this chapter introduced anything super groundbreaking here. We got to see what kind of chaos the avalanche really caused. I think it's interesting overall that this is like the Straw Hats versus nature, which we've seen on the seas. You know, we've seen them combat storms and stuff, but it's interesting seeing them, you know, go up against an avalanche and critters.
Yeah.
So that's a unique thing that we haven't seen much of. Again, the snowboarding just gave me Sonic Adventure vibes, 1 and 2. 1 actually has a snowboarding scene where you're snowboarding away as Sonic from a avalanche.
Is it down like a city street?
That's in the second one. Yeah, that's the rolling around at the... Anyway. I think...
I had friends with GameCubes.
Yeah. But I thought some of the action of the snowboarding scene with Sanji and Luffy was a little unclear. It was a little cluttered at times, where I couldn't tell exactly how the things were happening. Like when Sanji throws Luffy aside, and I guess he cracks into the stone or the tree or something. That wasn't immediately clear how things were going down there, but I mean the end result is still the end result. The introduction, or the little detailed rundown of the white walkie legs, very much reminded me of a Pokédex entry. I could just imagine, like, white walkie, the woolly hippo Pokemon. This animal is well adapted to life in snowy mountains. Blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, the ending was a very sweet moment until Wapol comes up. Luffy taking a second to pull a parent Pokemon animal out of the snow for its distressed child was cute. It was sweet. It was good. And yeah, I mean this chapter was good. Maybe a little bit corny if it hadn't been for the stakes here. Nami and now Sanji out of commission. Nami dying. I felt like, you know, they're snowboarding down. It's so... Cliché's not the word, but I don't know any other word other than, like, dorky. But, yeah, I mean, it's you know, getting us to the climb, as we'll call it. And then, yeah, that's all I really had for 137. 138 is Dylan.
Well, cover issue, we're back to Django in Funky Town.
Hell yeah.
Take me too.
And then it was like, a disguise is necessary, 5 seconds until Django's true face is revealed. Yeah. Didn't like that.
Yeah, we have the reveal a bit later on.
We'll see it coming up. Did not fucking like that. Like, ew.
Also, spoilers, did not like that either.
Yeah, fuck
would you classify it as body horror?
I would.
Classify it as gross ass. And then it opens up with freaking Wapol trying to... Any king that has to constantly say, I'm the, like, kind of like the Tywin Lannister to Joffrey. It's like if a king who has to say he's king constantly is no king. Wapol's definitely got those kind of vibes. It's like, oh, but your impertinence is unpardonable. If
Joffrey was allowed to grow up.
And then, like you said, you mentioned before, like this is kind of like another like shining moment where he's like aware of what's going on. He's more, his facial expression is like, man, if they were not here, I would just beat your ass.
Yeah.
But I do not have time.
You are beneath me.
Yeah, bottom panel is like he's pouting, but he's pouting. He's like, oh, man, I got shit. I got time right now. I want to, but... And then also I just thought of a new law. Chess, write this down. Anyone who ignores the king dies. It's like,
fucking Wapple.
Yeah. It's like, start by killing the injured ones. And also Luffy, it's like, he's already been like pretty like acrobatic and good at dodging, but now he's doing it with 2 dead weights on him. You got Nami on his back and Sanji in his arms.
Yeah.
Like, he has a point where he's getting ready to fight back, and then he has the flashback. He's like, fuck, all right. And just runs off with a promise. He's like, I'll remember this. And don't follow me. I don't like the, like after he does the arrow, I don't like how Wapple, like the way they do, like, Wapple's move call out, where it's just a close-up on his mouth. It's like Snow Country attraction, snow powder makeup. Just giving me definite, like, domain expansion vibes. So what is this, Jujutsu Kaisen? Even though that came out after. But I do like the artwork. I do like the artwork of the top of 6. Where it's like, oh, they gave up, and then it's just his mouth in the middle of a blizzard. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Kind of crazy. I did like that. I did like that visual a lot.
It's a stupid move. Because it doesn't make any sense.
It looks like a doorway.
It really is. It's like, it'd probably be better if you, like, you know, didn't announce your presence and just laid in wait like a trapdoor spider.
Just announced, I'm hiding!
Oh, yeah. I'm hiding over here. Over where? Here. Oh, okay, gotcha, boss. Some fucking idiot. And then it looks like he's about to get cooked, getting attacked by everybody at one time. And then the Lapines remember debts owed. And of course, he's like, even after just dealing with them, like, momentarily, like, not long ago, he's like, polar bears? So this, bro, how many times you gotta get told? Lappins. I also do like the one flexing with the small.
Yeah, there's the frame.
Yeah, that's the frame from, that's it. Callback.
And then they're squatted up to fight. Like that. And then Luffy's like breathing the elements. I like, because those couple panels, bottom of 10, kind of really show that like the elements are actually starting to get to him. Which is something you don't really see a lot from Luffy. You see like the exhaustion and stuff he's suffering.
We've seen a couple times where he doesn't realize he's cold until like...
until it's like, oh, I'm about to die. Yeah. So this hypothermia, what's that feel like again? And then you get like I forget what it's called. You get like the vibes of Goku climbing the tower for the senzu beans. Like this scene gives me those vibes really hard.
Uh-huh.
Back in Dragon Ball, right? Not Z.
Or did he? I think he did do it in Dragon Ball.
I don't remember when Goku started flying. I don't think he did in Dragon Ball though. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Dragon Ball Z is like, these guys can fly. I was like, wait, why do we have him using the cloud? Goku can fly now. And I love, like, during the climb, I love, like, when he, like, stubs his finger and he screams out and he drops Sanji and he's like, oh shit. And then you get the body hoarder of him just, like, flicking his neck back and just grabbing him that way. It's like, ugh. And then the scene, like, showing his finger, like, that bottom panel really shows kind of, like, what he's suffering through.
Yeah.
Because you see his, like, fingernails bleeding. Like, I think at this point, like...
Yeah, that was...
Based on what you told
I
us
have
about,
notes on that.
Based on what you told us about, like, Attack on Titan, is the Attack on Titan team is redoing the animation. I have a feeling when they get to this part, there's probably going to show that he has no fingernails. Because it's Attack on Titan. They do that shit real good. And then the shot, the almost 2-page shot of, like, the castle, that was nice. And Luffy being like, that's a pretty castle. And then passes out as the fucking top of the cliff starts to fall away with them on it. And then don't think this is going to be a fake out death, because I'm pretty sure Wapple and them killed those Lappins.
They certainly look dead, at least.
Yeah, and the fact that he kicks one of them in the side of the head, too. It's like, goddamn.
Jeez. I looked right over that panel. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's not Arlong, but he's getting there.
It's different. I think I have notes on that.
He's not scary. He's just more of a brat. But
oh, I think I know a brat. Yeah. Anyway.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't like the introduction of Tony Chopper's other form. I don't like that panel. I don't like the way that looks.
I got thoughts.
I saw that. I was like, ugh. Ugh. That's all I really got. Although, actually, I will say the SBS, end of the SBS, it's like, oh, in volume 15, page 171, Dr. Correa tells the child to remember what you did, but why? Shouldn't you try and forget it? It must have been excruciatingly painful. He's like, no, you got it all wrong. Like, she's trying to, like, let the boy learn the lessons. Like, sometimes you have to endure pain to make things better.
Yeah.
Which kind of leans towards, like, what I was getting at with why she did her things the way she did them.
It's about appreciating life.
It's like, I'm making you pay an arm and leg so that, like, to prove to yourself, no, your child is worth this to you. You should be willing to give away everything. I'm only taking half. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The American
Still not
American
the
healthcare
best,
system.
Yeah, it's still not the best bedside manners, but
No, American healthcare system's like, no,
We're not doing it to make a point. We're doing it to make a buck.
ugh, I'm so sad for you guys. Anyway.
Is that all you got?
Yep.
So, 138. Actually, just hopping right ahead with kind of a continuation of what Dylan was saying. Wapple really is a piece of shit, isn't he?
Well,
I feel like he's not quite as obviously evil as some of the other villains we've seen so far. Kuro and Arlong come to mind as being cruel, but he truly acts like an entitled prick.
They at least had like a creed that they believed in.
Right,
He just believes in himself.
some sense of honor. Oh yeah, and it's just it's almost like a brat throwing a tantrum. Like, you want to ignore me? Take that. Like, I'll make you fucking eat it. Oh,
Pours
anyway,
wine on the
I
white
don't
carpet.
like him. Yeah, while staring you down. Yeah,
tough to get that one out.
He's probably, in that sense, just because he annoys me so much, like he grates on me, he's probably my, like the villain that irks me the most. Like, he gets on my nerves, but like in a good way, in that it's purposeful. Like, Oda made this character to be detestable, and he did a really good job at it, and he's selling that character, but I hate him. I just want to squeeze the life out of him. Like, I really truly
Definitely get that.
yeah, he's awful. Yeah, so at page 4, Luffy saying, "Don't follow me," as he's running away was like really comical to me. Like, why would you tell someone not to follow you? Just run away.
Follow you even harder.
Exactly. Like, you don't need to tell them not to follow you. It's implied by you running away that you don't want them to follow you, Luffy. Yeah, it's just kind of pointing out the obvious. And then, Dylan mentioned it, but the shot of Luffy about to walk into Wapple's wide open mouth and him chomping down on him on page 6. So good. So clever. I was thinking it looks like a stone doorway, like a stone archway a little bit in the snow. Anyway.
Like he's about to escape in Dark and Darker.
Right. Something like that. But yeah, a very, very creative shot. And yeah, freaking Lapins to the rescue. I knew I loved them for a reason. Not only are they soft and fluffy, but they got something in their noggin. They remember a good deed, and they remember a bad deed. Exactly. And yeah, then, like I said, we see the same image at the middle of page 9 that we saw at the corner of the previous chapter. I thought this was a really good Luffy chapter. So determined, and he is so devoted to the things that he comes to care about. Like Dylan pointed it out, the scene where he scales the mountain is epic. You know, there's basically a blizzard, the wind is howling, the snowfall is getting stronger and more dense, and he's basically scaling a vertical mountainside while carrying 2 people. Like, that's amazing. That's, like, arguably amazing. I did cringe when he hurts his fingers or his nails. Like, you see the shot of the blood running down his fingers at pages 14 and 15. Like, that made me go, like... like, I squirmed a little bit in my seat. But then we get a magnificent payoff to these intense few pages. The whole shot of the castle over pages 16 and 17 was amazing. The perspective and the scale of it are grandiose. And after the action we just saw, this feels almost quiet. It's so imposing. It's like we have just a rush of action, and then we see this huge, big, quiet thing. And then I just love Luffy saying, "We made it. That's a pretty castle." Like,
and then he's
I don't know what it is about that. Yeah, it's just, it's beautiful. And it's, the castle kind of gives me, okay, kind of, not obscure reference, but not everyone will know exactly the scene I have in mind. In Beauty and the Beast, at the very beginning of the movie, you see like a wide shot of the castle. It reminds me of that castle, the castle from Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, the chapter ends in an interesting way with Wapol having defeated the Lapins and, no, please let them be. And basically threatening Luffy from a distance and, some big hairy creature grabbing Luffy by the arm as he takes a fall from the mountain. Very epic chapter. It's kind of like what Michael was saying at the previous chapter. The action is picking back up again. Now we're back like on a crest, like we're going uphill, and yeah, very exciting. At that point, I was like, "Ooh, I want to read more." Yeah, that's what I had for 138.
And as we will see, it plateaus, but not, in my opinion, in like a bad way. We will get into that a little bit more. Yeah. I'm going to jump to the end of this chapter because the climbing the mountain left such a huge mark in me way back when I first started One Piece. My first attempt at One Piece was through the anime, and it's just too long. I'm too ADD to sit there and watch really a lot of TV shows these days, but especially, 100 episodes at like 20 minutes each, so on and so forth. But I remember that. I remember it vividly, and it's even in this manga format, it still hits really hard. I thought the whole scene of him climbing the mountain, keeping Nami with him, grabbing Sanji, fingers bleeding, was just excellent. It was some of my favorite moments that we've read so far. Going back, Luffy's not, I don't know if nonchalance is the word, but certainly he cannot be concerned with what Wapol and Wapol's gang have going on. And it is just so inspiring to see him remembering Sanji's words in the moment, committing to it, knowing what needs to be done, and he's dodging, and he's just using every bit that he has left not to fight them and to stay the course and to not get hit. And God bless it.
He's learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's like the wheels are turning. Like he's actually learning things.
Something stuck in that little brain. and yeah, I mean, him saving the Lapine, I thought that was a fine way to get him out of that situation. It made sense to me. It didn't feel tacked on. I liked it. I liked the Lapine stepping like, nah, that's our guy now. That's our guy. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit to see them all flatten.
Yeah.
And then Wapol kicks one in the head. Like, fuck that, man. And I kind of want to highlight what you said. Like, I don't love Wapol. I think he's done well, though. I don't think he just feels out of place or anything, but he annoys me more than he feels threatening. So we will see how that continues to evolve, but I also really loved the ending. That's a pretty castle as he passes out. It reminds me of Troll in the Dungeon. Just thought you should know, if you know what I'm talking about from the first Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
And then that form of what we will soon find out is Chopper is just
scary.
It's scary. It's unsettling. It's too human and not human enough. I presume by the hat you knew right away what that was, but I'm just curious. On your first read through, did you know what you were seeing?
I was putting the pieces together, but I wasn't sure. But I was like, that looks familiar.
But, yeah, just kind of to summarize, Luffy really shines in this chapter. I thought it was a great Luffy chapter. The 10 pirates are still kind of losers. And then I put in parentheses, and ugly.
And ugly.
But the last, couple pages, 5 pages maybe, were killer. All killer. Straight up.
Yeah.
But that's 138. 139 will be V.
Okay, so this intro image, that's the one. That's the body horror. That is the face that will haunt me in my deepest, darkest nightmares.
Almost snake-like.
It made me realize that we hadn't seen his eyes before. Because he's always wearing the sunglasses, and you assume that it's the glasses that are heart-shaped and not his actual
These
eyeballs.
are prescription lenses.
My brand.
My brand.
Oh, I don't like it. It freaks me. It freaks me the fuck out. I can't do it. The more I'm looking at it right now, and I hate it. I just want to look away. It's like it triggers that like uncanny valley vibe.
Triggers a lot
and it
of
just
bad
makes
vibe.
it just makes me want to run away and never look back.
No, put the glasses
not
back
immaculate.
on. It was fine.
It's kind of like, okay, weird reference again. Scary Movie 2. When the
That's
guy
what I
is
was thinking.
fucking...
So put the glasses back on.
Oh, yeah.
when the guy is fucking the ghost, that he's telling her to keep the paper bag on her head. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm cracking up. Oh, I'm good. It's just, I haven't seen...
I can do it myself.
Oh, great movie. I haven't seen these guys in a while, listeners, so I'm giggly.
He's giddy.
Is
Little school
because I
girl.
miss them. Yeah. Yeah, so the heart shape of the eyeballs freaks me out. There's nothing more to say. I hate it. Let's move on, and let's try our best to forget that we ever saw it. I'm not exactly one to condone violence, but Vivi smacking the shit out of Usopp to wake him up is kind of justified. Her saying it was frostbite was kind of like the cherry on top of the on top of the sundae. I love that.
Is my face swollen?
And she's like, "It's frostbite. Yeah, it's frostbite." I was like, "Okay,
Me, it's like
baby."
the depiction of his face when she's dragging him by his
Oh
nose.
my god, yeah.
That's like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His fucking nose.
Usopp's really he's getting it.
Stretchy. So,
Like, speaking of body horror, that's body horror.
He's about to rip that
Okay.
face right off.
Right? So I think this is the only Thirsty V moment of this episode. While I do
X the
pity...
doubt on that one.
While I do pity Zoro for being cold, I'm not mad at him, staying unclothed. I really like the interaction between Zoro and Usopp at the top of page 5. I thought that was fun banter. And I kind of like how it starts at the bottom of page 4, where they're like kind of staring each other down, and Usopp's face is still super swollen. Anyway, I thought that was... And we don't see a whole lot of Zoro and Usopp in this chapter, really, so that was... We don't see a lot of many of the Straw Hats for parts of this of this volume, if we're being
This
honest,
is about
but we'll get to it.
Luffy and Nami and Sanji, really.
Yeah, it's...
You mentioned that, like, bottom of page 4, like, my favorite thing is, like, Zoro obviously doesn't know who it is, and, like, looks at Usopp, and then, like, zooms in on his nose, and he's like, oh, Usopp.
Oh, it's
nose
the
guy. That's the one.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Usopp.
Oh.
Who's that meatball with you?
Yeah, who's the one with
Who's
the
that
nose
meatball
again?
with the nose? I really enjoyed how well the tension was built on page 6 as they're confronted with Wapple's men and they realize that they're the same people they saw at sea. I felt like that was a good payoff with Zoro punching the shit out of a soldier. So good. And all that fur coat, which admittedly looks pretty good on him. I like my boy and his cozy little attire. Yeah, and then the scene change as we're getting back to the castle, again, to me, chef's kiss. It's like we had this like snapshot of what was happening, and now we're like turning and zooming in with each panel. Like, we're seeing the top of the mountain, and then we're seeing the castle, and then we're seeing the inside of the castle, and then we're seeing the bed. Like, it goes deeper and deeper into the imagery. Like, the sequence of panels over pages 8 and 9, to me, again, great storytelling, great pacing just with the use of the pages. Yeah, I don't know, that really caught my attention. I was like, man, that's just cool.
It is cool.
That's just great. And it feels intentional, right? It seems like that's exactly the mood or the intent behind pacing those panels that way and zooming in further in until we get to Nami's face as she's waking up. And then, similarly, I have to say, like, without going into it too much, because I'm going to keep a lot of my thoughts for the end, but I quite enjoyed this volume for several reasons. And I really like the whole interaction between Nami and Chopper. The way that he peeks the wrong way. I love that. And I might be, because I know Dylan already has some preconceptions about Chopper. I will say, spoiler alert, I love Chopper.
No one saw
like
that
him
coming.
a lot. What do you mean?
What an animal in One
Is it
Piece
something
and
that
he
was
likes
super
it?
predictable?
Yeah, right, Dylan?
I love him. But yeah, so just adorable little interaction there between Nami and Chopper. And then we get, again, Oda does that really well, the full body shots when we're, like, properly introducing a character. We get that for Kurihad, page 12. I like the explanation we're getting of why Nami was sick, because that is something that we were wondering about in the previous episode, and it makes sense, considering where they've been, and it kind of ties the story together. It doesn't feel like such a random thing. Like, oh,
I thought the same way.
that checks out. Yeah. And I also, for some reason, I think it's at the bottom of page 13. For some reason, that perspective shot of, like, seeing the scene unfold from under Kuriha's shoe was pretty
It made the wall of text a little bit more interesting to read, I think.
Right. Like, yeah,
Well,
instead
so
of
the
being
text
straight
doesn't get
on,
in
the
the
fact
way.
that it's... Yeah, exactly. Like, you see a good overview of the whole scene, and you still get the information that you're looking for. That's a good point. And yet, Dr. Kuriha doesn't fuck around, but I gotta say, she may not have the best bedside manners, but she gets shit done. And she has a point. If you're not well, you gotta rest. Doctor's orders. Like, it is what it is. Buckle down, Laylee.
Or I'll fucking cut you.
Yeah. Yeah, or, like, I'm gonna kill you. she's scary. Like, that bottom panel of page 15... She's scary.
Like,
she's a spooky bitch.
It's like no one's gonna die from a disease in my care, but I
will kill you.
The only disease they die of is this knife.
This knife. Oh, yeah. And then we get some more really good pacing. Sanji and Luffy arrive with a bang at the top of page 16, and then it's cut by the flashback of them being found by Kuriha before we pick back up at the same moment 2 pages later. Like, it's a good cut. I could see it happen in my mind. Like, and again, I would need to see the anime. We just, in case listeners aren't aware, if you have new listeners or whatever, this is our first exposure to One Piece. So it means we have not seen the anime yet. And, that is something I would be curious to see if they conveyed in the anime as well. Yeah, just clever use of the pages. And then, yeah, so we find out that Chopper ate the human fruit, which explains a lot of the kind of gross, like, body imagery we've seen.
It's very One Piece. The human.
Like, what fruit could we invent?
Yeah.
Let's go with human. And then, keeping in mind that I wrote these notes as I was reading, we find out that, so, I have to say, hearing Kuriha say that she taught him medical skills made me speculate about something. Is Chopper going to join the Straw Hats and become the Marigo's doctor that clearly they need? And while we don't get a final answer on that in this volume, it seems more and more that we're headed in that direction. But yeah, that's what I had for 139. Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot of the really good points. Again, the eyes, for fuck's sake, the eyes.
I know.
But again, pulling on his nose, that was great. The fact that Zolo can't recognize Usopp until he, like, sees the nose. It's like, oh, Usopp, alright. And the fact that he gets in the fight with Waffle's army just to get a coat. Always funny. Here comes a dumbass crying reindeer coming full swing. And also, like, I noticed, like, that, like, the hot water bladder that's on her head is being balanced by a hatchet. That seems really unsafe. Seems really, really unsafe. Like, what happens if that comes loose? It's like, well, if the sickness doesn't kill you, this axe will.
We're gonna make sure of that.
And then also, not the only fact that, like, Tony Chopper's a crying little beesatch. There's also brain dead, doesn't know how to fucking peek right.
Stop being mean
fucking
to him!
hides, like,
Don't be mean.
So dumb. So dumb.
Dylan!
No, I fucking hate this guy so much. I was seeing like a little bit of the anime because my brother used to watch it and I catch glimpses of it. Every time I see this dumb little fucker, like the whole time. It's like all he does. And then we'll see further on, and because to me, the rest of this volume is flashbacks, essentially. And we get to see a lot of that. Should have been Tony, crybaby little bitch.
No.
He has some reasons to cry, I think.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh my god, Dylan. Listeners, what do you think?
People love Tony.
You'll agree with me.
Or Chopper, I guess is more common vernacular.
But then,
it's Tony.
I still kind of agree with Correa, where she's kind of like, she sets the stakes so high that you have no choice but to be like correctly cheated. Treated, not cheated. It's like, hey, like I'll fucking kill you if you don't just let yourself rest. It's like, oh, okay. All right, yeah. Again,
I will
that's
rest.
one way to go about it. Yeah, it was effective. I might not like it, but they got better. And then, of course, Sanji and Luffy, the second they come to, they're like, oh, a deer, let's eat it.
That's you, though, Dylan. That's you.
Well, I mean, whatever. I didn't want to eat him until I found out about his backstory. I was like, ugh, this guy. And also, I don't like the fact that there's a human fruit. That's weird.
It is weird.
I don't want to see what that. I don't want to see what that fruit looks like. That's
God.
It probably is just like a pulsing heart.
Yeah, it's like has an ear sticking out the side of.
Oh yeah.
Little hair on the
it's
top.
Like fucking from Berserk, like the freaking eggs of Beefeelit or whatever they're fucking called.
Made of skin.
Yeah.
It's like a ball sack.
Oh, stop. No.
Let's assume it's just it's a pulsing heart.
In a ball sack.
Yeah, in a ball sack. It's a ball sack where the balls are pulsing
I don't think
hearts.
the testicles are supposed to pulse like that.
I mean, they do if we got like, torsion.
Stop, Dylan.
Is this gonna be our TikTok short? Or are you
I'm thinking about it.
Our YouTube short?
I don't know if I can put testicles on TikTok. They're pretty particular.
I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok.
I saw a vagina on TikTok.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as you don't like show brain, like I'm pretty sure you're good.
Yeah.
But they're trying I like the flashback of them finding everybody, and then Luffy being like, "Bye, Fwems, they're bye, Fwems," and of course Tony running away crying again. Pussy.
Stop.
But yeah. That's pretty much all I got.
So, let me ask you this, Dylan. So, his big form in the last, or like the third to last panel, still no? It's a little bit more cooler. It's a little bit more action. It's not as scary.
I don't know that I would call it
Well, it's just the thought that he can kind of like shift between the four, because you see it a little more in the next chapter too, where you can switch between like the chibi between the two forms, between like human and fucking deer. Where it's like, I'm a cute deer, I can talk, ha ha ha. I'm gonna cry a lot. See? And then there's some like freaking like I do steroids and that's my fun. Yeah. And then to a normal deer, like the fact that he can switch between these to do different things, because you see a bit of it. Like he gets this big thing to fight off. He does like when we get introduced to the Quack Doctor, when they're trying to run away from people, like he'll turn into a regular deer and he'll ride the deer and they'll run off. So his powers are interesting. It's just he's a little wham crybaby.
Yeah. So, body horror that starts off this chapter is interesting. Yeah. Eyes, Usopp's face. Usopp's head reminded me of Meatwad, and it only had me thinking of like an Aqua Teen crossover with One Piece, which would never happen, but I think it would be really interesting. Like the Straw Hats just pull up to New Jersey, because I'm pretty sure that's where Aqua Teen Hunger Force takes place. I think that would be an interesting fanfic to read. It's like, hey, Stretchy Man, why you swimming in my pool? Oh, wait, I guess Luffy can't swim. Anyway, loved the Zoro stuff. He never stops being badass. He really doesn't take a day off.
It's his constant natural state of being.
I loved seeing him in the jacket. He looked cool as shit. And
he did.
He also had a little bit of 4-year-old logic. Like, they were like, what are you doing here? He said, I saw a fish, so I chased it. And then I got washed.
He has his moments.
But
he's just a little baby.
Oh, a fish! But, he's badass, despite the lack of brain cells.
The moment, yeah.
I love the Chopper introduction. Very cute, very silly. It made me laugh. And I really like the interior of the castle. Korea's room where she's keeping Nami has all the, like, skulls and axes and
the
science.
vials and the, like, alchemist.
It was very Nightmare Before Christmas to me. That's the vibe I got from it.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Like the doctor's house or whatever, castle. And then, we speculated the sickness, but I literally wrote, this is equally valid. This makes sense to me.
Would you say she got down with the sickness?
And then Korea was very interesting. I mean, she continues to be a very compelling character, and I have a lot more to say as we continue to learn more about her. And then, of course, the chaos of Luffy and Sanji chasing Chopper around was fun. This was a really fun, interesting chapter. Overall, it was another good chapter. Not sure what to expect. It keeps coming close to, it keeps what is coming close to the chest. Like, just based on reading this chapter, I don't think I knew exactly what to expect going forward. And I'm okay with that. So, like, if we were dividing this into acts for Drum Island, I think this is the beginning of Act 2, so to speak, which it is the second volume. But, yeah, I love the doctors, Korea, Chopper, and we will soon meet Hiralook, and the chaos in this chapter. We got a little bit of the other Straw Hats. I thought it had a little bit of everything. It didn't have a ton of action, I guess, but it did a lot of other stuff well. And then, 140 will be D, aka Dylan.
I will say I like the cover art on this one. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's cool. Although it does kind of look like Usopp's eating one of the like Cacturn bad guys from Final Fantasy.
It does look like that. Man, leave it to Dylan to pick out the Final Fantasy stuff.
Right?
And then immediately jumps to Luffy demanding that somebody joins his crew, whether they want to or not.
He says please.
Which he, I mean, he knows he needs a doctor, and I don't blame him for going for her.
Rhea would be absolutely wild if she joins the crew.
Yeah, no,
Too much.
Too much, yeah.
Too much.
Oh, like, it's like, watch your mouth, I'm still in my pert and perky 130s. I don't like how she said pert and perky.
It kind of makes me want to Google Dr. Correa, rule 1...
No. 34, don't do it.
Not 134.
It exists.
Don't do it.
And then, of course, next page, you got fucking Dum Chopper peeking the wrong way again.
Stop it!
Look at his dumb ass.
He's
got one eye behind the doorway and he's just standing in it. He's dumb.
Bet he could out-doctor you, Dylan.
I mean, he probably could, but I could beat him up.
Shut up.
I don't know if that's
Stop it.
And 2 of his 3 forms.
Like, when he turns into his full, like, deer form, he's big.
Yeah.
And then Dylan's gonna whip out his gun. And
Exactly. Hey, we learned later on, guns are... We learned later on that guns are very effective against them.
Got his fucking ass.
Something, Solo needs to be naked more often. Yeah.
Oh, he's lashing out. He's lashing out.
Oh, don't worry, listeners. We love each other.
And Alexandra's like, just wait, Nami. I'll whip you up some stamina rebuilding, a reindeer stew. And immediately after, Korea is like chasing after him with like cleavers.
Love that.
And they're like, oh shit, this bitch crazy. Let's get out of here. That was funny. And then Nami's like, just forget the food. Just keep it down. I'm trying to take a nap. And I like how they leave the door open. It's like, is this a castle or a barn? That's a Nami line right there. And she's like, I want to go close the door. And Chopper's like, stay in the bed. And I kind of like how he's like nervously looking around to make sure Sanji and Luffy are
it's
there.
Done really funny. Well. It's like, I get the nervousness out of that. It feels right.
Well, I've always thought that Oda's done really well, like transitioning, because like especially with the Baratier, there was a couple times where it was like someone was having a conversation and stopped that conversation with one person to have a conversation with another person in the same panel, and he drew that well. But yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, so thank you for taking care of me. He's like, shut up! I don't like being complimented. It's like, goddamn, you're so fucking dumb. Because like that picture, like of him being like, oh, hee, that is Animal Crossing vibes hard as fuck.
Yeah,
like 100%. And then I kind of like seeing the interior of the castle because that gives me like Twilight Princess. Where you're in the one where you get the spinner.
Oh. Yes.
It's definitely, there's like imagine like instead of being sand, it was a snow level.
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh.
That very much gives those vibes.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I hadn't figured that out, but now that you mention it, that's all I see.
Now we're going to fight some giant floating skull shit.
Yeah.
That was actually a really fun boss fight. And then like I kind of like Nami in this one is like the first one to kind of like put the hooks out there, like, hey, like, why don't you come with us?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are you interested? And it's like, no, you idiot. And it's like, all right, come along. Huh, what? Reindeers can't live with humans. Santa Claus? All right, whatever.
Yo, there's some big Santa Claus vibes coming.
Yeah.
And I have a blue nose. But, like, he's coming up with excuses why he can't, and it's just like, all right, like, is that what you want to do? Like, are you trying to, like, be scary to me? Because, I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Loved her line.
And then
Are you trying
Sanji and
to
Luffy.
scare me?
Yeah, because you're fucking not doing a good job, sitting there crying like a little bitch. There's going to be a lot of that coming, viewers. It's just, it is what it is.
Maybe someday he will change his mind, but it is not today.
Yeah. And then I like, Sanji and Luffy come around the corner, like, there you are, and then there's, like, knives embedded in the sides of their head.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
She got their asses.
And I like how she comes back in the room. It's like, damn, those kids are fast. I was like, you disappoint me. And like, I don't like the way this is worded. So turn my back on you for a minute and you try and seduce
was
my
the wrong
reindeer.
word. I wrote that down.
Yeah, seduce my reindeer without my permission. Oh, do I need permission to seduce him? No, you don't. Why are they trying to fuck this dumb little reindeer? I don't like this. I know they're not, but the wording is just poor. You could have said you're trying to steal my reindeer. That would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been better. Yeah.
Seduce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get my reindeer to take his cock out. No,
Oh my god.
And like, it's kind of weird here. It's like he was a normal reindeer, and then he was rejected because he just had a blue nose, which, odd.
I mean,
Okay.
I know about another colored nose reindeer that was rejected by his peers.
No, it's August, for Christ's sake. We already did it in the music group thing. I got months. Let me have my piece. And they ate the devil fruit, the human fruit, which is weird. And and after that, they cast him out. So he tried to look more like a human, goes to the humans, and then they see him. They're like, which I don't blame them. Like, we actually get to see his face.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, fuck. Ugh.
Shoot.
And like, that to me, like, that kind of explanation of his backstory really gave me Frankenstein's monster vibes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the only thing he wanted acceptance, so he did these things to try and be more acceptable, but then people rejected him anyways. And the line, do you really think you people can heal his heart? It's like,
What do you mean, you people?
The Straw Hats, yeah. Anyone.
Listen, if anyone can, yeah.
But like this, like, then they're kind of like, all right, let's close the door. And then he's like freaking out. He's like, don't do that. And then they're like, oh, wait, there's birds up here. That's why we can't do it. And they're like, wait, did that thing speak? And I'm standing on 2 feet. It's like, man, what a monster. And he's just like, these guys are bullies. They're making fun of me. But the panel after that, like, dude, we should get him to join our crew. He's so fucking cool.
Whatever, Dylan.
Yeah, well, because it's like, it looked like a reindeer was walking to, and there's just like, everybody's being so mean to me. And he walks away before he can hear, what an interesting guy. Sanji, let's recruit him. And throb.
Ew.
Don't like that.
Everyone's trying to fuck.
Yeah, apparently reindeer antlers are fucking aphrodisiac. So pair them on everybody wants
Made
one.
me come.
No, thank you.
And I like the bottom panel. It's like, wait, monster, join our crew.
Stop using that word.
No, don't use the M word.
And also the fact that the woolly guy can just climb sheer cliff faces.
It's made for this.
That's interesting. That's a useful skill. But like in the middle of all the bullshittery and the shenanigans, like Chopper's like, that's Walpole. And then it's like, oh, there used to be a quack doctor, and then here oncoming 5 chapters of flashbacks. That's all I got.
It is 5 chapters-ish of flashbacks. You were right.
So going back to the intro image, again, we're getting some more slice of life stuff, and it just makes my heart feel full. It makes me smile to see the little octopus sausage skewered on Usopp's fork. And we're also seeing Zoro smiling up at Luffy and Sanji.
That looks like a joyous smile. He is truly having a good time.
Oh, my baby boy. Yeah, just, it's heartwarming. I like it. Okay. I have to do a little bit of a shout out to Sanji when he says, whoa, what an amazing old crone. He nails it. That's exactly how I feel about her. If I were to summarize Korra in 3 words, it would be amazing old crone.
She might be a hag.
Who's to say? A hag or crone? A crack?
Rogue.
Yeah. So we were talking a lot, and Dylan mentioned it. We were talking a lot about our appreciation for outdoor environments, the snowy drum island, the jungle of Little Garden. But I have to say, I'm a big fan of the inside of the castle. I like the stone details of the walls, the full bookshelves, the vials that are kind of strewn about. There's something creepy and magical about it, and Michael, you nailed it when you said A Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'm here for it.
Even
I
the
love that
checkerboard
vibe.
blanket seems like something I would have been into in like 9th grade.
It's giving very Tim Burton. Like, I'm also thinking Edward Scissorhands, like the castle and Edward Scissorhands. It's the same kind of vibes. But yeah, I love it. I happen to think that Chopper still peeking in the wrong direction is adorable.
I also like it. You're not alone. He's alone.
I like it.
Makes him look
Freaking
dumb as hell. Big old dum-dum.
No, stop it. He's so cute.
When Tommy
Anyway.
does it, you see it, "Doi."
Sanji threatening to make Chopper into a reindeer stew and Kuriha defending him and threatening to eat Sanji and Luffy instead at the top of page 5. Like, that was the chaos I was looking for. Like, I love these little nuggets of pure chaos and, like, absurdity.
There had been an air with Nami dying and shit. Like, there had been an air that just did not really allow for joy.
Right. And now we're getting that again a little bit. And it's like, oh, I like that. It makes it lighter. And then, as Dylan mentioned, speaking of interesting indoor environments, the shot of the spiral staircase wrapped around the huge stone pillar as the room is full of snow is awesome. When you mention that visual of that, I think it's a boss battle in Twilight Princess where you have to ride the spinny thing. That is exactly what I'm thinking about. And then even just looking at the ceiling in that shot and the windows with the snow hanging from the windowsills, like, I don't know. It's a really, really interesting shot of the inside of the castle.
Canadian capital. Whatever you guys call it.
Yes, that is Ottawa?
Right, but we call it the White House. I'm sure y'all have, like, an executive estate.
Parliament?
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah. So we alluded to it. I knew someone was going to try to recruit Chopper. I didn't really expect that it was going to be Nami at first. It is ballsy of Luffy to try for Kuriha instead of Chopper. Like, it was kind of bound to fail. Like, there's no way in my mind that this could have ever worked out. But, he knows that they need a doctor. He decided to try, not her. However, Nami, I think, is on the right track. Okay. Dylan said his whole thing about hating Chopper and the story and whatever, and the whole Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer parallel. I promise I'm not going to get too in my emotions about this, but as someone who experienced a significant amount of rejection and bullying as a child, Chopper's story was quite compelling to me, as was Kuriha's question at page 13 when she says, "Do you really think you people can heal his heart?" I'm learning not to depend on other people for my own happiness, but having good friends does make a difference. I will tell you that much. And I have 2 of them here with me. Yeah, it's my boys. But yeah, it pulled at my heartstrings for sure. It didn't have the same effect on me as the whole Belle-Mère thing. And I'm honestly not really expecting anything too. We'll see. But that was still very, very compelling to me. And then at first I was kind of sad that Luffy and Sanji would call him a monster, especially after he pointed out the snowbird chicks that depended on the open door for survival. Like, it's like, clearly this person isn't a monster and you choose to call him a monster. But I'm happy to see realization come to Luffy at the top of page 18 when he realizes that he could make a good addition to the crew. Like, he says monster, but I don't think he means it in the negative, pejorative way.
He doesn't have a term for what he's
like
saying.
He's not saying it as an insult, and I have to remind myself of that. Yeah. And then again, at the time was kind of speculating, but I was thinking that the last few panels could not be a coincidence. I'm positive that Wapol had something to do with Chopper, or maybe with the doctor that had taken him under his wing, and sure enough, as we progress through this volume, we find out that that is indeed the case. And that's what I had for 140.
All right. So, 140. You guys really nailed a lot of it, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. Again, Correa is a very strong character. Love her or hate her, she leaves an impression for sure. I love Chopper's little quirks in this. I know Dylan hates it, but he's so cute.
No, he's so
he's
cute.
So silly, and he's insecure.
He's such a little guy.
So insecure.
I love him.
Bless him.
I just want to hug him.
He needs you to
and
hug
love
him.
And
And Nami and Chopper's interactions are so good in this. They're
so
so
good.
Because she is someone who is down to earth. She's not going to try to eat him. She's going to try to understand him, and she does her best. She's asking him questions, and yeah, it's cute. I wrote Rudolph the Blue-Nosed Reindeer. Also, I disagreed with the use of the word seduce. That is wrong. Maybe translation error. I don't know. Also noted the Nightmare Before Christmas vibes. And then the bottom of page 17, where he kind of looks back as he's walking. He's so slouched. Like, I couldn't imagine a more pitiful...
No, I know. He looks so defeated.
Destroyed by their words. Absolutely annihilated. It hit. That cut me. It cut me real deep. But yeah, just to summarize, we are starting to dig into our central plot of this volume, The Sad Tale of Chopper. This chapter had some emotional beats and some funny moments. So it really kind of bounced around with the tone, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel like it was uneven or it just took me off guard. That's just how One Piece is. And it's only going to lay on harder as we progress to what's to come. Good start. Nothing blows me away, but I don't have a single big critique here. So yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
And then 141 is V.
Alrighty. So 141, okay, I know we went through the whole thing with the eyes. Putting that aside, I knew Django had Riz, but I didn't know he was dripping in it. Look at him
As long as he keeps the glasses.
Hips, the arms, as long as he just keep them on.
Put the bag back on.
Oh, but yes. Django dripping with Riz. Love it. And then... I was wrong. Earlier when I said that this was going to be the only Zoro thirst moment, I lied.
But there's only this one more.
There's it, and then that's it. Yeah, we are picking things up with a page full of panels demonstrating how much of a badass Zoro is. His smirk, the smirk mid-page 2 kills me. Rips my ovaries out of my body.
God.
That's
yeah, Dylan's reaction is so priceless. Wish you could see it.
Anyway.
Put the ovaries back.
It could kill me. Yes, okay, let me...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a medical emergency.
Anyway, earlier I was talking about the Beauty and the Beast vibes I was getting from the castle. It comes back. The bottom of page 5 reminds me of when Gaston is storming the Beast's castle with the villagers. Like the invasion of this castle. I don't know. That's straight where my mind went, was Beauty and the Beast.
I get it.
I'm also, wishing that Wapol is going to die an equally gruesome death as Gaston did. We shall see. So the interaction over the next few pages, I think, is excellent, particularly with Kureha being kind of the main... Dare I call her protagonist? I'm not sure. She's essentially the last Doctor standing after Wapol cleared the kingdom of them, and she won't be intimidated into leaving. And I noted at the time, not knowing, that her flag has cherry blossoms on it, and I was just thinking, that's neat. And I said, I'm curious to find out more about the symbolism of them.
Lord
Foreshadowing.
Knows. You got it.
Lord knows. And again, amazing pacing and storytelling on Oda's part. I love the sequence at the bottom of page 8 with Luffy going in for the gum bullet and time stopping to leave room for the flashback.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great. That was a fantastic moment.
It's almost monologue interrupted with a foot.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Or like the scratch, like the vinyl scratch. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Guess you're wondering how I got here.
Exactly. That's it. You must be wondering how I got here. And you know that panel to me, bottom of page 8, is super dynamic.
Yeah.
We got one in, boys. You know, with Wapple's expression and Luffy just, like, gearing up his blow. Excellent. Really, really good moment. My thoughts for the flashback are going to be a little mixed up because I do see it in a more holistic way, like, as a whole. So, in the next few chapters, there are moments where I view it as more of a general vibe instead of honing in on the details. I don't have any very specific thoughts on the beginning of the chapter, but overall, I thought it was well paced. It served its purpose nicely in establishing where the issues that Drum Island is currently facing come from. It serves its purpose nice. And it didn't feel out of place. Like it's I can't remember exactly what it was, but there relatively recently there was a flashback in the previous volume. I feel like that kind of what was unnecessary, like we didn't need that flashback to be there. And I feel like this is kind of right, the Giants. And this is kind of redeeming itself in like, wait, we can actually use those flashbacks smartly and not just throw one in randomly because it's time for one. So I quite enjoyed that. Also happy to be introduced to Dr. What's his name again? Hiralook? Hiralook.
Pretty much how it looks is how it sounds.
So we're getting introduced to Dr. Hiralook a little bit more formally. I am noticing at that moment that his briefcase is sporting the cherry blossom skull emblem on it. And yeah, I also just a quick note on the SBS. I appreciated having a little bit of an explanation regarding the super spot bills, which Karoo is one of. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what I had for 141. Dylan?
I like the whole thing, which is like, oh, I turned this whole place into a mausoleum for Hiralook. I predict this is going to be a fake-out death, but Dalton's heart has stopped beating. So, I'm assuming he's going to come back. Just because everything so far has led me up to believe that, yeah, he's probably not actually dead. And then the cut before the flashback to the Gum Gum Bullet getting ready to land is freaking awesome. And also, like, everything I'm seeing in this chapter of Hiralook, dude's a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
Like, he set people's houses on fire. He's shooting people. He's like, oh, I poisoned your father and shot your mother. Nah, whatever, kid. You'll be fine. And as the kids cry, Mommy, Daddy, it's like, oh, I didn't mean for this to happen. It's like,
I'm trying to figure out this whole doctor thing, you know?
Yeah. I figured if I take the blood out, they'd feel better. They'd stop bleeding if I took out all the blood.
Well.
And then Korea's kind of talking shit about him. And then he kind of... Yeah, I like how she kind of like talk shit on him. It's like, had you not called yourself a doctor, hundreds of people wouldn't suffer from a simple cold.
Right.
It's like, damn. You suck, dog.
Yep.
And they kind of go more into the whole 20 doctor things. It's a weird concept, but...
Yeah.
And then you see, and at the end, you kind of see it's, he likes bombs, which also, again, bad guy behavior. And then he tries to help Tony Chopper, and then Tony Chopper sees the gun and freaks out. And he figured the best way to convince him of his, intent to do no harm is get naked.
It's always how I do it.
That's weird. It's kind of cutesy to see him, like, eating the bread, but crying again. And also, now that bread's ruined because it's got fucking snot all over it. Gross.
Let him be!
Fucking nasty, disgusting. I know, like in the SBS in this one, the guy at the bottom said, hello, how do you do, Oda-sensei? I always read the question corner, so I wanted to send you a special Coast Guard. Thought I'd find some joke or pun that you play in the manga and join in the fun, but they're so hard to find. You guys really are something. So anyways, here's my question. What question should I ask? What are you, a fucking idiot?
Yeah.
See you next chapter.
Bitch.
It's like, damn. Alright, fuck you, Oda. Tell your readers to shut the hell up. Which he does that from time to time. When they say some just, like, stupid shit that's just wasting his time, I feel like he puts it in here just to call him out. It's like, do you want to be embarrassed? Don't send me this shit. Well, another time it's like, is the stretchy part his penis? It's like, why would you ask that?
Why would you
Dylan has not gotten over that.
It's like he's calling him out. He's calling him out. Respect. That's all I got.
All right. So, love Zora's Winter Fit. Just gotta put that in again.
He stole it.
The panel where Wapple was returning to his in quotations castle. Very majestic, beautiful, interesting panel with the evil king returns. And then, of course, I loved the cut to the flashback with Luffy dialing it up. And it just we've seen this type of transition before in many other medias. V referenced the record scratch. It's so good. It's been done a million times before, but in this particular moment, Wapple doesn't deserve the finality of it. Let's wait a second before he gets his ass fucking stomped. We see Herlick coughing up blood, in page 10. Again, another trope we've seen. It's fine. I get it. It does its job. And yes, the meeting on the bridge between Herlick and Correa, I feel like it was very mysterious and well done. These two very different, but also kind of similar people meeting and discussing what's the goings-ons of I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was well done. I thought it was very what's the word? I don't want to use the word vibe, but it was well done. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know the exact word I'm looking for. And then his use of bombs, like Dylan said, very villainous, but I don't know that he's being set up as exactly a villain, even based on what we know about him starting on this.
Even his outfit is meant to be a little, villain casted.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to kind of give off that impression, but there's a lot more to that character.
Right. He is a very complex character, I believe, and overall, I like him. I do. He's wild. He is a fucking wild card in this whole thing. And then I wrote, oh god, he's naked. What the fuck was that panel? I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. And then the last page was just very heartfelt and sweet. I've used these exact words in other panels, but this whole volume just oozes heartfelt moments. It oozes sweetness, caring, love, sadness, rejection. And just to kind of summarize, love the cut into the flashback. That's a 10 out of 10 moment. I thought that was excellent.
Absolutely. Absolutely one of the highlights, memorable moments.
I can't wait to see it end.
Yeah.
We are just moments away from the climax when we cut to the flashback, which is a classic storytelling trope. But I do have this question for you guys. I think it's done well here, but is the trope itself trite? Is it overused?
The flashback?
The way that it's introduced with the punch and then stop and jump to something else that is related-ish. Because again, we've seen this in numerous movies and storytelling.
I feel like it's so well done. I know what you mean about the fact that we have seen this before, but it fits so well into the narrative, and it's so vivid of an image in my mind that I'm like, I don't care that I've seen it 50 times. I'm so happy to see it again. So it's not that the trend isn't quote unquote overused, is that this is a really good example of that trend. Fair. So that's my take on it.
But overall, I love this. And Dylan is 142.
All right, so we start off with the dance competition in Funky Town. That's fun. And then this is more kind of covering the backstory of Herlick and Tony Chopper. And it really explains, there's a lot of information given, but it is just a lot of, giving information for the most part. So, a lot happens without a lot happening. So I'm probably going to breeze through it pretty quick. And he's like, oh, why didn't you talk for the past 3 days? He's like, well, when I talk, humans shoot me. It's weird for reindeers. And he's like, whatever, I can talk, and I'm better than you, so whatever.
Why don't you fucking cry again?
Makes more bombs. Yeah, you fucking pussy. And then he blows shit up trying to get stuff. I was like, Tony Chopper. He's like, why are you calling me Tony Chopper? Hee hee, Chopper, hee hee. Fucking, God, it's fucking stupid.
I don't know why he's getting criticism over that, but okay.
So it's like it's just
Stop it, Dylan. He's just a hater.
Just want to see Sanjay kick the shit out of the side of his head during that scene. And then kind of coming over to the Dalton goes to the dilemma of good leadership versus bad leadership. And it's like, oh yeah, just rule with ultimate power and fear. What I thought the cool information we got with this was Dragon.
Right.
And how Dragon seems to be, what I'm taking away, Dragon is the leader of this rebellious movement in Alabasta.
So this is
but Dragon was also the one.
No, this is many years before Alabasta.
But this is them saying it's like he's stirring up dangerous ideas
across the world. This is not just about Alabasta. I do want to clarify that. This is not just about
Okay. But to me, it's like, oh, that's important. It's like, if that's the case, why did he help set Luffy free when it seems like Luffy's going to help solve the Alabasta problem? So that was the big interest thing I took away from this.
I see your thought process, but yeah, he is not specifically fomenting insurrection in Alabasta. This is at least 10 years. I don't know if it gives a number. Vivi's a child here.
Wow. Well, also the guy holding it up is smoking a cigar. Is that supposed to be like smoker's like father or something?
Maybe.
Who knows? And of course, Wapple's like, oh, not my fucking problem. And he fucking pimp slaps Vivi. Vivi, of course, is like, oh, I'm sorry, I bumped into you. Let me not start a war.
Yeah, right.
And Dalton's like, damn, that's a good leader. It's like a 6-year-old is fucking showing up how to be a leader over my fucking king, where my king more acts like a fucking 6-year-old than this child does. Damn. But yes, we're talking about how the country's sick, the government's causing more of the sickness, blah, blah, blah. And he covers how he, a robber from way back when, was a sick man, he was going to die, there was no way to save him, but then he saw cherry blossoms, it felt so good he was cured. And that's what he's trying to do, is make that cure come true here. That's why I fly this pirate flag, yada, yada, yada. Again, a lot of information just being handed out. But, one thing I liked, he was like, oh, but the world is just a tiny speck. He's like, really? He's like, no, even smaller, like this. He's like, really? That was kind of funny.
Really? No, actually even smaller.
Whoa. And then you kind of see like where Chopper kind of is like, in the future gets his ideas like, oh, mushrooms, mushrooms seem to be really important. Pretty much this is all them just running away from the law, from being criminals.
Effectively, yes.
I love it. It's like, oh, time, we have to use the decoy strategy. What's that? And just kicks him into the fucking garden.
That's you.
Best use for him right there. And they have a fight, and he gives him the hat. And they calls him out. So what are you going to do? Cry about it? And then just kind of like montage their time spent through the year. And like, he's like, oh, your treatment's finally over. Get out of here. And he's like, oh, wait, let me just shoot myself in the face. Look, I'm hurt. You have to take care of me again. And then the doctor shoots him, which kind of is a pretty big deal because he's like, I'd never shoot you. And then he shoots him.
Dylan, have a heart.
Like, oh, forgive me, Chopper. Boo, boo, boo.
Have a heart, Dylan. Have a semblance of
heart. I mean,
it's
I'll admit there, it's kind of like, all right, it's symbolic. Like, I see why he did it. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, get out of here.
You stupid
animal. Go on, Airbud. You got to get out of here. Airbud. You can't come back with me.
That's how Airbud went.
I think they did in Airbud, too. They get rid of the dog. Any movie where they have to get rid of the dog. That's what happens.
Get out of here. You can't play basketball here anymore.
Yeah, you're a dog. You don't have hands. Everything you do is traveling.
I don't love you anymore.
Everything you do is traveling.
That's all I got.
The refs let that dog play basketball. They're the villains in that movie.
Yeah, honestly, who's paying them off?
And Airbud's done a lot at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he played a full contact sport. How's that dog not dead? Played football.
He's a tough dog.
Luke Kuechly, fucking take that motherfucker out at full tilt would kill that dog. But that's all I got.
Alrighty. So, the title of this chapter is Skull and Cherry Blossoms. So we are going to get a little bit more of an explanation on the nature and the origin of this part of the story. I liked getting the explanation for Chopper's name at the bottom of page 3, and
it was cute.
To be completely honest, he's absolutely adorable. Like, the bottom corner, when he's laughing, it made me go, aww, out loud when I read it. I was like, this is adorable. I want to love him forever. And I probably will. If not because of him as a character, but just to spite Dylan.
Keep that same energy. forever.
You know, we were talking about brats earlier. Anyway, at the top of page 6, they mention Dragon. Is this someone that we have met before? I feel like...
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so...
Do you remember when?
When we talk about
Dragon.
Oh, yeah, we met him.
Was it in Little Garden?
No.
No, he,
Logtown.
It was when the smoker was about to capture Luffy, he interfered.
Okay. Yeah.
He grabbed Smoker.
I know this name.
Or something. I don't remember exactly the
that's
nature of his intervention.
I remember being like, oh shit, I've heard this name before. He sounds important. So, yeah. And kind of speculating on if he's one of the big 7, so to speak. But yeah, so we have this mention of Dragon.
Let me interject real quick before you go. You mentioned the big 7. So the big 7 are puppets of the world government. They're sanctioned pirates. They're privateers, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which Hawkeye is one
exactly,
of them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dragon specifically is mentioned as an enemy of the world government. So I'm not going to say whether he is or is not one of the 7, but take that as you will. This is all information you've been given, so I'm just kind of connecting some dots for you.
Okay. We have like the board in the back with the
Pepe Sylvia.
the red thread going between different points. That's where we're at. Wapple hitting a child because he's upset at her father is egregious enough, but for that child to end up being Vivi just made it even worse in my mind. Like, I've come to like her a lot as a character, and I'm just so angry that he'd be so spiteful.
That was my kid. I'm nuking that country.
Oh, yeah. Like, heads will roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, are you fucking kidding? Don't touch her. Don't fucking touch her. Yeah. I have to say, top of page 8, Dalton does a great job at summarizing what makes her a good leader. And we had already talked about it a little bit in the previous volume, where she approaches things in a very diplomatic way and in a way that benefits... It's not about her honor as a leader, it's about what's best for her country. And this is this is another proof. Even like as she was a child, she still displayed those qualities of being a fantastic leader. And I feel like that's encouraging. Like that makes me feel like Alabasta will survive and is going to be in the care of
She's
a
gonna
good,
do her
just,
damnedest
and kind leader.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That she truly cares, and she's going to do exactly her damnedest to make sure that she leads fairly and kindly. Yeah, he gets some pushback. Dalton gets some pushback a little bit later on, but while power and order are one thing, they truly mean nothing if it comes at the price of losing someone's humanity. Yeah. And I feel like, and I will mention it a little bit later, but like in this day and age, it seems, without getting into the politics of things, we're standing at the extremes and we forget to try to meet in the middle, is what I'm finding about like the cultural and political climate as of yet, lately. I mean, I feel like there's something to be learned about trying to find a compromise. And yeah, I feel like Vivi has that humanity in spades, and I like her a lot. And then, yeah, we have this quote of, "This country is sick right now, its people and its government." And again, I won't really say more, but I feel like many citizens of many different countries can probably relate to these words. That's all I'll say. And then, yeah, waiting for that explanation about the cherry blossoms paid off to me. Is it a little bit naive? Sure, but it's hopeful. And I feel like there's a lot of solace to be found in hope.
I think so.
Without that, I feel like we're lost. I also like the interpretation about the pirate flag rejecting impossibilities. Like, that's a nice big fuck you to the universe. Like, I'm gonna do what I want. Let me try to figure it out.
As long as you do no harm, I think that's
right.
Good.
Exactly. Like, I will test the boundaries and I will test the limits and I will do whatever I can without fear. Again, like you said, while you do no harm to other people. And that's such a pirate thing, if you think about it. The whole sequence of the Doctor turning Chopper away after 1 year was very sad to me. Especially when Chopper hurts himself to get his attention at the bottom of page 18. To me, this comes from a place of, like, despair and really wanting to hang on and not being willing to let go, and it pained me a lot to see that. Yeah, very heartfelt. I guess I didn't really expect something like that to happen in this volume, or at least the way it was set up to me wasn't going to be super emotional, but it turned out being quite emotional in some ways. But yeah, that's what I have for 142.
So I thought that Hero Look saying, "I can talk, you ain't shit," was so... I laughed out loud. Like, this reindeer is putting himself out there. He's scared. He's timid. Bro, Hero Look, he has so many facets to him. I find him to be so compelling of a character. Him and Kureha being doctors, crazy to me. Bedside manner means nothing.
It's pure chaos. Yeah. No.
This was another great Vivi moment, even in a flashback. If I was Vivi's dad, Drum Kingdom is getting nuked. But Vivi, ever the diplomat. The whole what is a pirate thing is interesting. I think that's the author really putting himself into his work. You know, this is his... I mean, this whole work is a piece of him put out there. He said he's not, saying that the old rogue, scallywag, raider, what have you, pirate is what he's going for, though that is a prevailing theme. There are many pirates that way. He's saying pirate is someone who does not adhere to the expectations of society, who will push the boundaries, and yeah, I think that this is me, kind of putting my own spin on it. He doesn't say this exactly, but again, do no harm, push the boundaries, see what this one life you get can be. Do everything that you can do. Also, it was kind of funny, like it felt like it was the author specifically was saying doctors are the pirates of science. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I'm loving the renegade doctor energy. I also already noted, why are the doctors all so mean? Why does bedside manner mean nothing? And then 16. 16 was this montage that started off with one big panel, a small one, a little bit bigger and still bigger, three small one. I just felt like it oozed energy. It was very, dare I say, dynamic. It was a great montage.
Dynamic.
And then, yeah, the last 2 pages were very sad. They really made me feel something, which, hell yeah. That was some good writing. Loved this. We got a little, so just to summarize, we got a little bit of world building, some slight world building with the meeting of the world leaders. I thought that was interesting. Hero Look and Chopper are interesting characters. They have an interesting dynamic together. They work well together. And it had a sad ending. I thought this was a great chapter. I loved what I read. And then, yeah, 143 will be V.
Yes. Alrighty. Yeah, so, connecting the dots, again, here we are with our whiteboard and the red thread. So, Hero Look is the robber that he was telling us about in the end, in the last chapter. So that's, kind of a little One Piece plot twist that I should come to expect at this point, but somehow they still kind of catch me off guard. But yeah, okay. I have to say, mid page 5, seeing Chopper peek as he's hanging from the window, I love it. I love it. I'm not saying I would die for Chopper, but I'm getting darn close. Okay? I am getting there. And I don't know, maybe that explains why he peeks backwards. Like, I have no clue, but I love it. It's so cute. Again, as I was saying a little bit earlier, I don't have much details to give about the next 2 pages, but I want to highlight once again how Oda uses the pages themselves and how they flow into one another to show kind of the frantic and urgent feeling of both Chopper and Hero Look's quests. Like, the running and it feels very quick and speedy, and they're both pressed for time, and you get that like I said, it feels frantic, and that was really well displayed and expressed through the pages. And on that note, the payoff to me is excellent once again with Hero Look's shocked expression at the bottom of page 17, which leads into the half-page shot of Chopper, beaten and bruised, holding the mushroom he thinks can cure anything at page 18. It is... I look at this and I I want to die a little bit.
Yeah.
I see him and I'm like, oh, you sweet thing. Like, you sweet, adorable creature that I want to hug and hold and shield from the world and comfort and love. Like, it's adorable, it's heartwarming, especially as Chopper begs the doctor to help him become a doctor. Like, live, doctor, please. I want to become a doctor too. My heart just shattered. Oh, it's so cute.
He's learning to love and trust again.
I know. Oh, it's... I don't care what Dylan is going to say. I love this. I really, really love it. And I feel like I don't know where we're going to end up with Chopper, but this has kind of... He's starting off strong as a character in my heart. Like, he is putting his grubby little, I don't know, paws?
Hooves.
What are they called? The hooves. Yeah, his little hooves on my heart. And, yeah, I like him a lot. And yeah, the very last page I thought was very foreboding. And again, we kind of see this unfold, getting that sinking feeling that something bad is going to happen. As we're wrapping up, we're going to see another display of Wapple's cruelty. And I'm not down to get my heart broken again. I will say, in retrospect, didn't sting quite as much as the Belmar thing, but...
Belmar was special, I think.
It was something else. But, yeah. This has proven to surpass my expectations. Is kind of where I'm heading at in terms of...
Before you finish, I just want to say the top panel of 18. Like, it's just
Mushroom?
Chopper. There's no background. And he's fucked up.
But I like... It makes me want to just hold him. Like, it's making me emotional. Yeah. Oh, this little guy. Yeah, definitely tugging at my heartstrings, this one. And yeah, we'll get to it when we talk about our general impressions, but surpassing expectations is what I will say for now. That's what I had. Again, short notes for 143. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like the flashback in and of itself I tend to look at from a more general point of view, but some excellent moments in this one. Dylan?
Yeah. We kind of finally get the information that that he is dying, but now he's flat out like, hey, I'm going to die. And she's kind of like, yeah, you're going to die in like 5 days, 5:30. Like, and then, Chopper, like I mentioned earlier, like heard all this shit about the mushroom, goes looking for it. So he does all that, he goes on this little montage to find the fucking mushroom. Finally finds it, comes back. Ass thoroughly kicked. Yeah, it's kind of sweet, but coming in the future, kind of proves that Tony Chopper's kind of a dumbass at the same time. I mean, which I guess a bit of it's not his fault. It's a little bit of ignorance is bliss, but still.
He is not a genius. I will give you that.
Baby.
Spoiler alert, he kills the doctor. If it wasn't for the fact the doctor kills himself, he would have killed him. But Pat the Evil is paid with good intentions. Yeah.
It's not evil.
But yeah, that was pretty much all this. Was just, which kind of is like, he's got such a good heart, he's meant to be a healer, yada yada. It was kind of like that whole... All that was leading up to that reveal that he's like, oh, he cares about everybody so much that he's willing to go through so much pain and trials to help somebody he cares about. Which is why they'd make a good Straw Hat, but that's pretty much all I got.
All right. I just think we have a lot of great duos here. Hiruluk and Chopper, Correa and Chopper, Correa and Hiruluk, and we have a great trio. The three doctors of this nation are the ones that are not under Wapple's thumb. Again, all very interesting characters. I love it. I love the reveal I kind of saw it coming, that Hiruluk was the robber, that he has these radical beliefs, that, a radical change of emotion can cure the sickest of people. The Chopper, stalking Correa's house while he's in the window, and I love their little exchange. Let me find it here. On page 5, Correa's like, what is that thing? The creature that came with you? And Hiruluk's like, wait, he followed me? And then Correa, It's like, he's been snooping around the house ever since you got here. He thinks I haven't seen him yet.
I love him.
He's so dumb. He is
He's so
dumb.
cute. I know.
And Correa is so smart. She is constantly aware of her surroundings, of what the hell is going on. It's all so bittersweet. And here looks saying, we're a lot alike, he and I, but I want to show him one last thing, that anything is possible. Like, he's kind of doing this for Chopper. He has not abandoned Chopper in his heart. And yeah, the montages with Chopper running, there's so few words in the Chopper scenes, and they're interspersed with just little flashbacks and Correa talking to Here Look. I think it's well paced. Like you pointed out, I think a lot of this volume has been well paced. I think the back and forth is done thoughtfully. The flashbacks, even the flashbacks within the flashbacks, they add to the story. And then, yeah, as I pointed out, the top of page 18 with Chopper holding the mushroom, he's disheveled, he's beaten.
Oh,
and he just says one word, mushroom. Oh my God, it was a 10 out of 10 panel. Yes, my heart breaks for him. And the whole thing is setting up Hero Look's end, as we'll see soon. And just overall, I thought there was a lot to love in this chapter. A lot.
Yeah.
Hero Look, Correa, and Chopper all had interesting and in some cases sad threads to pull. I feel like the art really popped off and has been popping off. It was interesting. It was emotional. It was well drawn. And I loved it. So 144 will be Dylan.
Okay. Cover art's interesting. Looks like the hand tattoos and shit seem to be like, I want to say...
Henna is, I think, the style or type of tattoo.
It seems like
yeah,
India inspired, because isn't that like traditionally like Indian?
Southeast Asian, I think, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's a cool style, not gonna lie.
Oh, they look great.
Oh, yeah, and then it opens up. I'm a dark mushroom shroop. Is it good? It's terrible. Yuck, because it's poison.
Yeah, that was a little foreboding.
Right.
Now that I think about it.
But I think the beauty of it too was also like, it's like, oh, I have to do this, save the kingdom, I have to do this, save the kingdom, I have to do this. And then he had the poison mushroom shroop, and it's just like, all right. But the main thing I took away from like the boon that was the poison he got was like, oh, finally, like now I don't have time, so now I have the reason to take drastic action. And he shows up and says, take me to the patients, have come to save the 20 doctors. And of course, Chopper goes to run off to try and save him. I like Dalton kind of be like, what is he fucking dumb? He just really this is obviously a trap, and he just walked into it. The art corner, the pirate gallery. That 13-year-old Kato did a really good job of drawing Luffy.
Yeah, he did. For a 13-year-old?
I like, that's a really good rendition.
So, I won't share the picture here, but recently, My Hero Academia came to an end, and the author behind My Hero Academia submitted a picture to the pirate gallery.
No shit, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And Oda covered it as a tribute to him. Like he redrew it or something. I think he redrew it. It was Smoker. It was a portrait of Smoker. It was really good from a kid. And then Oda just kills it, and I won't share it just because
it's like, hey,
it has
you dumb kid. This is how you draw good.
Yeah. It has some spoiler-ish. It might not be that. I maybe could share it, but I'm just going to err on the side of caution and not.
That's fair.
But yeah, like Oda has outlasted that man's entire.
That's crazy.
Life and career.
Yeah.
Oh, Sapporo.
But yeah, I thought it was so crazy cool.
That's really cool.
You guys are vaguely
for
familiar
him. It's
with
probably
My
dream
Hero?
come true. The fact that it's like that was probably the guy who inspired him to do what he did.
Exactly.
And then, he covered his shit that he did as a kid.
I know of it by name, but I've not.
Yeah, you're at least familiar
Really?
that it exists and it's relatively popular.
Yeah.
Dylan, you done?
Yeah.
V?
Yes. So, I while Dylan was talking, I was thinking about what does Hero Look remind me of, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but there's a trope in literature of the gentleman burglar.
Yes. Vaguely, but yes.
That's what he makes me think about.
He was
like
a
gentleman
robber.
burglar is like Tuxedo Mask
Robin
and
Hood
Sailor
kinda.
Moon is a little bit of an example of that. Or
Was
that's
Tuxedo
a little bit
Mask
more
a renegade though? It's been a long time, so I don't know.
kind of. And then there's this character in French literature, which there is a crossover with Sherlock Holmes, but his name is Arsène Lupin. Or I don't know how you would say that in English.
I'm vaguely familiar with that.
So yeah, the whole trope of the gentleman burglar, that's what I'm getting from Here a Look.
Sure, I get that.
So I will just backtrack a little. Nami and Vivi as Indian princesses? Yes, please. I really like that intro image and the way that they were drawn with the henna tattoos on the hands and stuff, on the fingers. I thought that was really nice. I did like the more heavily shaded in style for Chopper and Here a Look their close-ups on page 2. I think it made them it made them stand out, and I thought that was... we hadn't really seen such detailed renditions of these two particular characters yet, so I was like, ooh, this is fun. I feel like Dylan and I are going to fight over this. But Chopper's expressions... I love him so much. He's wiggling his way into my heart, and I don't know that I can keep him away. I like his face in the middle of in the middle of page 4 when he says the doctor was happy I cured him. I want to die. I want to die for him.
I personally think he's a great character, V. So
he's
again,
adorable.
The Chopper Alliance forms here.
I really like him, but yeah, that shot of him, middle of page 4, he's like, oh, with his little hooves on his mouth. I love him. The more time we're spending getting to know Here a Look throughout this volume, the more I like him, I have to say. He comes across as a little autistic, like maybe not fully self-aware of the impact of his actions, but he is selfless, and he wants what is best for the world, even though he knows that he won't be in it for much longer. And that's honorable. And, we're getting that confirmation that the soup did not heal him. It's bittersweet, especially considering what I had said just earlier about Chopper being so proud of himself when he says the doctor was happy I cured him. Because you know that Chopper he meant so well, and there's a lot of love in this volume. There's a lot of affection and appreciation for what other people around you can do with you and for you, and how important it is to have a supportive network of friends. Like, I don't know, it feels very meaningful. Like, I hate to kind of say the cliche thing of, like, the power of friendship, but I'm gonna say it.
It's not so, I mean, it is cliche, but it's not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right.
And peace with the friends we made along the way.
Right? But, like, it's adorable. It truly, truly is. And, yeah, so, in fact, not only did the soup not heal him, but Kuriha reveals that it was poisonous and that it will kill Here a Look within the hour. And I just want to talk a little bit, speaking about expressiveness, the bottom shot of page 14 is a great display of Oda's ability to lean into it. We're getting getting similar vibes as the Usopp pirates splitting up. I have to say, by virtue of the way that she's designed, Kuriha is already very expressive, but the emotion that takes her in that moment makes that even more clear. Absolutely. And even more intense. Like, I feel her emotion deeply because of the way that she's drawn.
She plays off this, like, I don't care about nothing kind of thing, but she clearly...
But when she does care, she truly does. And it just exudes from her. And to me, that was super powerful. And yeah, overall, it's a good ending to the chapter as we're gearing up for the end of the volume. Here a Look is determined to make the best of his last few minutes, albeit not knowing that he's been fooled yet. But I get the feeling that he will not go down without a fight, and sure enough, we shall see some of that in the next chapter. That's what I had for 144.
Right, so this was my shortest notes yet, so I think I can make this quick. Hiraluk demands of Correa. She says, "Make my dream come true. Take care of Chopper." And she just does not seem like the person to make demands to. But here he is, making the demands. Go off. But again, the two of them make such an interesting dynamic. It's such a good pairing. Hiraluk and Correa, killer characters. Then, so it's all very emotional, but one part I was questioning is why he would eat the mushroom. I assume it was in his stuff, so he knew. I think he knew what was coming. I think he knew that he was eating it, and then I had to Google it. I was like, what does the internet have to say about this? And the general idea that I got is that he saw the sacrifices and difficulty, the hardship that Chopper put into helping him, that he could not tell Chopper in that moment that he fucked up. He didn't have a lot to live anyway, and he wanted to go ahead and have his swan song, I think is the term. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that feel right? I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but I don't know. He's never held back on being an grouchy asshole before. And then on page on page 17, I wrote, "Oh, he's crying again. Dylan's not gonna like that."
He's going through a lot.
He is going through a lot. But yeah, just to kind of wrap it up. I mean, emotional with some good info in here. And initially it struck me as odd, but I think I can get behind the explanation that I found for Dr. Hiraluk eating the mushroom. And I don't dislike it. It is good, but I felt like it was a drop from what we had seen before. Again, not bad at all. In fact, I would say very good. I don't know, I just felt like it was coming to an unusual conclusion. I'm not sure. Let me rephrase everything I've said maybe. I'm not sure if I buy that Hiraluk ate the mushroom because, like, why would you kill yourself? He would know better? Yeah, because he would know better. Like, why would you eat a poisonous mushroom if your main goal is saving and healing people? Why would you not take every moment you have to put it to your cause? Because he ate the mushroom before he had even finished his cherry blossom powder. I don't know how to feel about that kind of twist in it. And maybe I'm looking too much into it. Again, just to kind of repeat, I'm not saying that I was... It wasn't it wasn't a fake out death to me, it wasn't that unsatisfying.
No, I don't think it was fake out.
No, right. I get it, but I also don't. So I'm torn. Yeah. I'm torn on this one, I guess would be the best way to put it. But yeah, that's really all I had for 144. And then 145 is V.
Yeah. Let's finish this baby off. The first few pages of this chapter, in my mind, do a wonderful job at capturing the essence of Hiraluk and that sense of duty that he has towards the citizens of the country. He's shocked to find out that he's been tricked, but the relief he feels when he realizes that no one is actually sick is kind of beautiful. Mm-hmm. The bottom middle panel of page 4, when you see him bent over, smiling and crying, is, to me, quite powerful. Again, Oda nailing the really vivid expressions of emotion. Honestly, I not... Like, if I were to take my focus off of the chaos that comes with Hiraluk and focusing solely on his intent, we need more people like that in the world, is kind of what I'm thinking when I think of Hiraluk. And his monologue had me kind of tearing up. I love the way that it's paced along the pages, or along the page. Yeah, over 2 pages or so. We see his words written on the pages as we see Chopper desperately running to him. And the words themselves just got to me because it's true. Philosophically, people die twice. When your heart stops beating, and when you're forgotten. And Hiraluk finds deep comfort in knowing that he will live through his legacy. He's not afraid of dying. because he knows that he's not truly going to be dead. He's going to live through the actions that he put forth while he was alive. And that's honestly kind of beautiful. Absolutely. When you think about it.
I've thought about that before for my own.
Yeah, and like, to be fully honest and kind of putting myself out there, being an agnostic, I struggle with not knowing what comes after I die. And this is something that is truly comforting to me. Is the fact that when I die, maybe I'm not all that dead. You know? Maybe there will be people to remember me and what I did and my actions and my thoughts on this earth, you know? So it's bittersweet. Yeah. Anyway, I got a little deep. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to say something similar.
The way he talks about Chopper on page 8 was, again, heartwarming is what comes to mind. Soon a monster will appear. He's my son. Don't hurt him.
He's his son.
He's his son. I can't. Oh, that was a good death. I'm hoping to God, please, God, don't let this be a fake out death. But if it is going to be final, it is a wonderful death. He raises his glass to the sky. He and Kuriha drink at the same time, and after he's expressed his thanks to Chopper, one last time he explodes. And, like, the pacing in the pages here, again, beautifully done.
Motherfucker really said, I'm about to go off.
Right? But, like, you get the bottom of page 9, you see the quiet mountaintop, and then the top of page 10, you get the shot of the explosion. Like, the fact that it's not on the same page also, that you have to flip, if you were reading it, you would have to flip it.
It's like 9/10 versus 9/11.
Oh, God. Whoa.
Are we too soon for 9/11 jokes?
I don't know. Are we? I'm not American. I can't speak on that.
Never forget, brother.
But yes, that was wonderful, in my opinion. I like the emotion behind the interaction between Dalton and Chopper over pages 12 and 13. But I gotta say, again, we were talking about Chopper in his, like, half deer form, but Dalton in his half bull form, it freaks me out.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different place. I like it.
No, equally. I don't know. It's, I don't... Either way, I don't like these two kind of anthropomorphic...
I like Dalton more than I like Chopper's form. I do. I think...
It doesn't look as weird.
Like, I could see Dalton being in, like, a video game.
Maybe it's the hat on Chopper's head. But anyway, it's putting me off regardless.
It's just he still has the snout with human ears. It's just fucking weird.
Anyway. It's fine. It's still meaningful. Also, when does he say that? Dalton says... Yeah, at the top of page 15, Dalton says, medicine can't cure stupidity. I wish it did, Dalton. I wish it did. But it doesn't.
I'd take that medicine.
Right. Would I give it to you? Let me think about that.
I don't think you're my prescribing physician.
Yeah, you got a PhD.
Yeah.
So that's fucking...
I mean, I have a degree, but certainly not a doctorate. Anyway, fantastic end to the volume as a whole. Chopper restates his wishes to become a doctor. Dalton swears that he will not die until peace is restored to the kingdom. And the flashback ends at the bottom of page 17 with Luffy's shape lunging at Wapol, only for it to conclude with an amazing shot of the Gum bullet we've been waiting
the ending
for.
Confused the shit out of me at first. I was like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh wait, that's right.
Perfect. It was like the record coming back.
I love how it started on Bull.
We'll bring that shit back.
And ended on Let.
Yeah. It's so good, and we've been waiting for it for so long at this point. Like we're like 3 chapters in, Luffy is fully committed to his strike. His muscles are basically throbbing.
Bulging.
And, like, the sight of Wapple's blood on his knuckles is
The fact that his eyes are protruding out to
I
his
love
wrist.
the
Right?
eyes.
It's so satisfying. Like, what? It was so good. Like, the ending of that volume. All
was
of
the most
chef's
satisfying
kiss.
ending we've had in
Yeah.
a while, at least.
It was like if you're edging for
Oh,
hours
God. Here we go.
and you finally let yourself go. Anyway, that's what I have for 145. Dylan, tell us more about edging.
No thanks.
I'm going to talk about One Piece, if I may.
I'm gonna see you get my nut. I ain't got time for that.
Dylan, I actually kind of feel that, but I'm gonna end that conversation.
Oh, you guys.
But I guess it's kind of nice to hear be like, oh my god, there's no one. The doctors aren't sick, thank God. But it's like, bro, like you're a quack. You've been like ripping off people and like burning their houses down. Like, how much do you actually give a shit? Like, I don't know. Like,
There is some conflict there. I get that thought. I do. And I'll
It's like
touch on it.
but yeah, but it's like, oh, finally, it was just a trap for me. So it's like, okay, it's a little redeeming. And I will say, it's like, you can't kill me. That whole monologue was pretty powerful. It's like, oh, when you kill me with a pistol and die from a deadly disease when I eat poisonous soup? No, when I am forgotten. Which kind of goes back to what we talked about with referencing the Wendigoon quote. The best thing you can do is give a good death.
A good death, yeah.
Yeah, give a good death. It's the best thing you can do for him because it's memorable. And that's kind of like this. That last thing. It's like, oh, what a life it was. Kind of leads to the thing where it's like he's kind of grateful that he ate the poisonous mushroom because now it really pushed him to like solve the issue he thought was an issue, and like die with a little bit of resolution. And then again, like the thank you, Chopper, calm, peaceful, and then kaboom.
The kaboom was great. That was a great
Yeah,
explosion.
it was good. Chopper sees it and immediately goes Hulk mode. Dalton interferes. Dalton's kind of like, hey, like, get out of here.
You stupid animal.
Nobody wants you here. Look, he had good intentions. It's like he raised you. You must have the same intentions. Like, live for this country so you can eventually save it, please. In the bottom right panel of 15 of 19 or 15, you know what happens when I get really angry? Don't you, Dalton? And the way his face is drawn there is a little foreboding.
It's a pretty intense for Wapple.
Yeah. And then freaking Chopper being like, train me to be a doctor. He's waving around the flag. He's like, please, please, please. He's got a little soldier's grave for Hurrick there. That 2-page spread down the volume was super solid. 100% agree with that.
Did the last bit do anything for you on Chopper? The waving of the flag? I know he's crying. I know.
I mean, he's got purpose. He's doubling down on his purpose. He's like, oh no, like I was ignorant before, but now I know I can learn the skills I need to actually do this. But I still believe what he believed. But I need the skills to actually back it up. It's kind of what I took away from it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, pretty much 5 chapters of flashback. Mm-hmm. I guess we did need a lot of that information. I'm not sure if there's a good way you could have condensed it down a bit, but it is what it is. It's all I got.
All right. So, 145.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of foolish of Hirlik to believe that Wapple had any kind of good intention, that Wapple would let him come and help him when he knows that doctors are a commodity in this kingdom, man, and Wapple is not a fan of these doctors. Again, it kind of ties into the previous one where it just seems like Hirlik is acting out of character. I think there is a thread that says that, you know, he's in his last days. He should be acting foolishly or impulsively. But, you know, I still thought that the end was well executed. I just questioned the motivation for it all. And
That's fair.
The art for the whole thing was great. I mean, I can't pick out many frames in this that were less than stellar. I mean, Dalton crying, Wapple pointing his glass in the air, the calm of the top of the mountain, the explosion of the top of the mountain, Dalton's interaction with Chopper. Yeah, I mean, it was so good. Again, minus motivations. And then all of page 16. I think Chopper is really putting himself out there in a very special way. I thought that whole page was beautiful. And then, of course, how could I speak about this chapter without mentioning the last 2 pages? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 ending.
So good.
Fucking yes. Yes.
So good.
So, just to kind of wrap things up, the ending of this, it again, I'm sitting here, at least part of me's questioning the motivation of it, but boy, does it make up for that in so many ways. What good does Hirlik's sacrifice really do for anyone besides Chopper, I'm wondering? But again, the motivation takes a little bit away, but not a lot. He's relatively intelligent. How does he not see the trap? Again, that's me thinking about Hirlik as who we've known him to be versus who he ends up being. Otherwise, beautiful ending. It truly inspired me. But I did have to suspend disbelief, as they say, a little bit. And then a 10 out of 10.
Good point.
A 10 out of 10 final page.
Yeah.
So the suspension of disbelief and all of that, I think is minor compared to some times in the past I've had to do it. I'll point to Dory's death and a lot of what happened on Little Garden as culprits here. But this doesn't come close to that. I think I'm just a step or two above picking nits. I think these are legitimate criticisms to an extent, but they're not so bad that it took anything significant away from this. Agree?
I agree. I think it's not above criticism. I don't think anything is. But the heart behind it was so compelling, and it grabbed me like just deep, like on and it's a little bit ironic to be saying it like that, but on a human level, it really got to me. And so while I understand, realize, and appreciate the fact that some people might see some shortcomings, it was the message that was being conveyed was so worth it, and made me easily brush away whatever criticisms I might have. I really enjoyed it. I sincerely appreciated this volume.
Yeah, we've definitely had much worse. We've definitely had much worse volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we did it. That was volume 16, and we did it in less than 3 hours. Look at us. Huzzah. It can be done. But let's go ahead and get to our final thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and start, as is tradition. So, let me ask you guys this before I jump into mine, actually. One last question. I'm going to start with Dylan. Dylan, as far as this one compares to the others, flashbacks so far, I think we can all agree that Belmere is the standard.
That's probably the goated flashback. Yeah.
But we'll also look to Sanji. We will also look to Zoro, which I think we can all agree was kind of weak. And then we can also kind of look...
Zolo's, I think we could have just not had.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
He just wants to be the best.
He was eye candy for me, and that's okay. He doesn't need to serve any bigger of a purpose,
really?
but
Usopp's was like 2 pages, if I remember correctly.
It's like Usopp.
It's like, hey, your mom's dying, your dad's not here.
Yeah.
He was just big, swollen head and the nose. That was Usopp.
I don't think we can really count Luffy's. Luffy's had no tragic undertone. It was just setting up him as a character. He knows Shanks. He ate a devil.
Well, it wasn't even really a flashback. It was more like
the beginning, right?
It was more like, hey, here's this kid, and then 4 or 10 years now he's gonna go be a pirate.
Right. So we can exclude that one. So I guess we're really just comparing this to Belmare, Sanji, and Zoro. So Dylan, was this one better than? I'm gonna go ahead and skip over Belmere because I know that's not the answer. Was it better than Sanji's? The eating of the leg, like that was. I thought that was pretty intense.
I want to say I feel like they were both just as necessary, but it's just I like Sanji's.
Yeah, I get that
better because it was more condensed. It flowed faster.
Yeah.
Whereas this one,
long.
It was long. It was really long. I mean, we needed all the information we got, but it felt super long.
It did. And then Zoro, do I even need to ask?
No, because Zoro's all he could have had to say was like he wants to be the best swordsman. That's all. Like you don't need a flashback for that. It's like that's his goal. Okay,
Right.
we didn't need to be like, oh no, there was a girl that he trained against who kicked his ass and then died. Well, okay, well, how'd she die? She fell down the stairs. What?
What?
What? The dojo wasn't overthrown and she was
Listen,
murdered? Like, that would have
Zoro-
made way more fucking sense.
Zoro doesn't shine by his flashback. He shines by literally everything else he does.
Right. Well, so
bulge. What?
Wait, what, Dylan?
Nothing.
So V, let me ask you this. I guess the only one we're really comparing it to, because I think we have kind of our standard set. Was it better or worse than Sanji's?
I feel like I'm kind of with Dylan on this one, and I think it's similar to Dylan's perspective on it, but my conclusion is the opposite. In that, I think they were both necessary. I think they both did a great job of establishing the intent, the goal, and the motivation behind characters, how they end up on the merry-go, because at this point I'm like 98% sure that Chopper's gonna end up that Chopper's gonna end up being the doctor for the Straw Hats. I think they both had a lot of impact, a lot of meaning, and they did a lot in explaining how these characters got to where they're going. But I think personally, I can relate to Chopper's struggles more.
Yeah.
I can relate to
that.
his feeling of being out of place, of feeling unloved, whereas I can't relate to starving on an island. You know?
I've never had to eat my own leg before.
I have never had to or witness someone eating their own leg to help in my survival, you know? So, both very important, both very compelling, both deserving a place in the canon of the characters. But personally, I feel like I have a deeper appreciation for Chopper's backstory because
You feel it.
it's more relatable to me. Yeah, exactly.
Right on. All right. I would also agree. As dangerous and almost edgy, I want to say, as Sanji's was, and I do like the conciseness of it. I will say that I liked how quick Sanji's backstory was kind of told, and you know, I don't think a page, or I won't say that. I don't think that there was a lot of wasted space in Chopper's, but yeah, I think it's more relatable. I would agree with that. So, my final thoughts on the volume. Excellent volume. Loved a lot, liked a lot, disliked very little. Great characters, emotional plot points, and excellent art along the way. Really loved the flashback bookended by Luffy's punch. That was some quality storytelling. I'm a big fan of the characters who were central to this, Chopper, Correa, and Heerlik. I thought they were just really great and deep and interesting characters all over. Minor story qualms, as I've mentioned, but not enough to go into any more detail than that. So that is my volume 16. V, and then we'll go to Dylan for our final thoughts.
I mean, I feel like I've already said my piece. I loved it. I really, really liked it so far in kind of the second, I don't want to, like, arc, whatever, in kind of this, past the East Blue, Baroque Works. Is that it? Are we still in Baroque Works?
Yes.
I think so. Are
Technically,
we? Okay.
technically, you
So
wouldn't know it by
far-
this volume.
Right.
Wow.
But this has been a highlight for me, definitely, as far as the Baroque Works arc is concerned. Yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Introduce some really interesting characters, super compelling storylines, a lot of big emotions, and I'm getting excited because seemingly we are getting a new member of the Straw Hats, and this is a member that is a long time coming. Because maybe we would have needed a doctor before we needed a cook. No offense to Sanji.
Yeah, you take what you
but
get.
yeah, those are my thoughts on volume 16.
Right on. Dylan?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a bad volume. Like I said, what we got from the flashbacks was necessary information, but to me it did feel a little long. I don't think there's anything you could have trimmed out of it with that criticism. It's just like, I think it was all necessary information. It's just, you know, there's a lot of information we needed. I'm personally not a big fan of Tony Chopper. That's just me. We'll see if I change my tune on that, because originally I fucking hated Usopp's guts. Come around on him a little bit. He's still kind of a little punk bitch, but You know, not a bad. We've definitely had
also didn't
way
have a whole
worse.
volume devoted to his backstory.
Yeah, honestly, but you know, we'll see. But no, we've definitely had much worse volumes than this, so I'm not complaining.
Right on. Any last words? Either of you?
I'm excited to see.
Oh yeah, I want to see this Wapple fight just get done.
I'm really excited for next volume.
I want to see this guy get cooked.
Yeah, because he deserves a spanking. Not the good kind.
Deserves a guillotine.
Turn your attention to my screen for the... I don't think you're going to see...
Oh my god.
That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Right.
I have to say, I like seeing Sanji in his winter coat.
Yeah.
Oh, Sanji's going to be in this fight? Alright.
Yeah. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? We know exactly where we're headed.
It's Wapple, Chess, Kuromarimo, Sanji, Luffy, Chopper. Is there anything that surprises you here?
Nope.
I'm assuming it's going to be Sanji fighting the boxer guy. Good old sense. Hitmon Lee versus Hitmonchan.
Hell yeah.
That's the inspiration I think it's coming out here.
Okay. All right. Any last words?
No?
Nope.
All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and bring a close to our discussion of Volume 16. I lift the embargo on 17. And thank you guys so much for joining me, for talking with me, and for discussing this volume. I want to thank our listeners for listening, as always. And, of course, check us out on our social medias. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. And our Discord is linked in the bio. So, for now, bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Ciao, Bella.